He's got nice bags.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for noticing the bags. I left some goodies there for everybody. Take a look inside. Some couple brochures, a pen, a little light thing you can put on your keychain. If you don't like it, then on your drive to work today, if you see anyone in a car accident, just pull over, hand them the bag, and just walk away. Okay. So I left a card on it in front of everybody here too. It's the same one from last time. Just an injury checklist for everyone to keep in their glove box. I'll go through it today. Just going to give you some pointers if you are injured in an accident. First thing you want to do is call the police, call 911. If it's a serious accident, do what you can to call 911. Somebody may do it for you. If you're just in a minor fender bender, you may not have to, and usually if you call, they're just going to say, was anybody injured? No, okay, we're not going to send anybody. If that's the case, you're still running the risk of this other person changing their story. If it's a disputed liability case and it's like, you ran the red light. Okay, yes, I ran the red light. But then later down the road, they can tell their insurance company that it was you, and if it's just a word versus word claim and there's no witnesses, you might end up getting screwed. So I would always recommend calling the police and having them come give an independent investigation on the matter. Second thing you want to do is get the contact information for each driver. Again, this is for your more minor accidents, so you are able to move around. Get all the information. This includes insurance company names, policy numbers, license plate numbers, VIN numbers, make and model of each car, witness statements as well. Take a lot of pictures. Take a lot of pictures of your car. Take a lot of pictures of the other person's car. If you have any visible injuries, these are cuts, scrapes, bruising. A lot of people get seatbelt burns. If the airbags do go off, they definitely leave burns. Take pictures of those injuries right away. And I always recommend clients to keep almost a photo diary of how those things are healing up. Someone who has some significant bruising that goes away within about 2 weeks, that claim is not worth as much in pain and suffering as someone who has those bruising for the next 6 months. A couple things that I recommend not ever doing. Don't ever admit to any degree of fault at the scene of the accident. If the police come, be honest with them, but just do not admit fault. And never say that you were not injured. A lot of times people get in the car accident, your adrenaline's pumping, you don't feel any pain. Sometimes it takes about a week or two to even start feeling some of those soft tissue injuries in your neck and your back, and you'll start noticing the headaches. And if you didn't receive any treatment up until that point, you may be hurting your future case by not having any track record of history. You could have fallen down the stairs 2 weeks later, and that's what the insurance company is going to say. Seek medical treatment. If you are injured, they'll ask you if you would like an ambulance. Take the ambulance, go to the hospital. If you don't want to do that, I'd recommend going to urgent care, just seeing your primary care physician. They'll set you up on a treatment path. At our firm as well, we work with a lot of network of doctors. If you don't want to use your health insurance and use the co-pays going through physical therapy 2-3 times a week, we work with doctors that work on a lien basis where you don't have to pay them anything out of pocket, and they will get paid from the settlement at the end of the case. Next thing you want to do is file a claim with your insurance company. When you do this, just give brief details. You don't have to be very specific. It's not your time to argue. The person who's taking this information is somebody who's just listening and putting in numbers, and they're not the adjuster. They're not anyone that makes any decisions on the case. So be very brief with that and let your attorney actually file the more serious claim later. Finally, right after you do file a claim, you're going to get a call from an adjuster, and their job for that temporary time is to get you to settle for a very limited amount right away. A lot of times they'll offer $500 or even $1,000 and get you to take that money, sign it away, and you're done. I've had clients that have come to me with serious injuries that even required surgery, but they signed their life away within about 2 hours after the accident for maybe $500. So those are really bad situations. Don't talk to them. A lot of times they're going to ask you to give a recorded statement, and this is very formal. And they will say, do you mind if I record the conversation? I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You'll agree to it, and they will ask you a series of questions and try to ask very intrusive questions that will determine liability later on. So at that point in time, it's not your time to give that information. Let your attorney give that information to them. And finally, most importantly, call an experienced personal injury attorney. Call me if you have any questions. There's notes here on the back. Keep this in your glove box. This is for everybody. I've got a bunch of extras if you want some more. And yeah. So I got this really awesome Christmas gift from one of my doctors. It's like a magnetic thing with magnetic the cars. I'm missing the people on the bikes. I gotta get some of those. But
They're injured.
they're injured, yeah. So I just wanted to go over 3 common accident scenarios that I see a lot. This could be helpful for you guys to avoid being in an accident, either on the victim side or the defendant side. So the first one I see all the time is the right turn. So someone's coming here to turn right onto this street here. Traffic's coming this way, so this is where your attention is. There's a crosswalk that goes this way with bicyclists or pedestrians. You're only looking left because that's, and most importantly, when you hit that pedestrian or bicyclist.
I've done that.
Okay?
You're on the bike?
You better hope I didn't call Anthony. Well, these Mormon guys,
It's that accident, right?
well, no, I immediately knew that this was bad. I mean, the solicitor, and of course, I knew a bicycle shop. I said, "I'll take care of it. Take your bike over there," and that's all. That was the end of the story.
So it happens all the time. It's a really common accident, really bad for the driver to not pay attention. And as a bicyclist, if you're actually on your bike going the opposite way of traffic, you'll also be placed at fault. So if you're crossing the intersection, always walk your bike, because then it doesn't matter which way you cross, you'll be treated as a pedestrian. The second one I see a lot is the left turn. Someone here is ready to make a left. This is either on a green arrow or a green circle. I think we all know that you're supposed to stop on a green circle and wait for traffic to come. Many people don't know that. We have a lot of accidents where people think they have the right of way because they have a green light, and they assume that this person ran a red light because their light's green. In actuality, both lights are green, and you're supposed to wait for that person to complete their going straight before you actually try to make that turn. There's a big difference between the arrow and the circle, so pay close attention. If it's an arrow, you have the right of way. If it's a circle, you do not. Finally, there's one that I see a lot where traffic is building up, and this is more in cities. Traffic builds up where there's 3 lanes, and there's a lot of cars in these 2 lanes. And pedestrians cross outside of the crosswalk in between the cars. And they're coming through, and this lane is wide open. So you may approach this and think you're trying to make a right here, so you're going fast trying to catch a light because there's no cars in front of you and all the traffic's here. A lot of times pedestrians get hit because they step out between these cars and you get them. All right? So you're still comparatively at fault in those situations, even though clearly the pedestrian is more at fault. But in California, with pure comparative fault, even if I am 80% at fault for an accident, I can still collect 20% of my damages. So if you kill that person, they will still come after you and get a good settlement from your insurance.
I'm gonna haunt you.
Don't stop. Well, they're family, they're heirs, things like that. So that's brutal. Yeah. So that's it. If you know anybody injured in an accident, please call me. I can help them. Yes. Any questions?
Do you also help the people that injured the person?
No, I do not do any defense. If you are on the wrong side of that, your insurance company has a duty to defend you. So you just call your insurance company. You don't need to get an attorney. Call them. They will pay for an attorney for you, and that's all you need to do.
If someone's you're involved in an accident, you're not at fault, and the person's admitting at fault. Besides taking pictures, would it also be a good idea? Everyone has a cell phone; they can record video. You know, if you basically get that, because I had a client that this happened to. They, the person was, I'm at fault, it's all my fault. Here's my information. Next day, it wasn't my fault. All right, and he took pictures and everything, but I told him, look, you got your camera on there. If they're sitting there saying it's my fault, just say, hey, no problem, let's just document this accident. You are Frank, hit me with your car, and if he says yes, would that help as well?
That's a great idea. Yeah, I'd recommend doing that. A lot of people do change their story. If that case does go to discovery and trial, those questions are admissible in court because those are spontaneous statements made at the scene of the accident. So those are admissible. The problem is if it's a minor case and you're just trying to settle something before having to go through an expensive lawsuit, they can change their story.